Welcome to PM Coffee Podcast. Today we are going to talk about one of the hottest topics in the industry, artificial intelligence. And both of you have strong experience, background working with AI from different perspectives. And for me, it's really interesting to hear how professionals can benefit from using AI, how can they become more effective, and also what it takes to lead and deliver AI projects. Welcome our guests, Olena Domanska, who is head of AI competency at Avenga, and Viktor Karevsky, who is program manager at Avenga. So, Olena, could you briefly introduce yourself, tell us about your background, and also how you got into AI?
Sure. Thank you, Olesia. So my name is Olena Domanska. I'm head of AI at Avenga and also a visitor professor at Manchester University. I've got around a decade of experience in AI and data science. So I started at the same company. It was called differently 10 years ago. And since then, I'm running the AI team and had this privilege of building and overseeing my team. My background is academic, so I started as a professor at the university, um, teaching mathematics, statistics, and similar stuff. But right now, we are focused on building intelligent systems that can reason and can act and bring actual values to our customers.
Wow, that's very exciting, and I hope to hear many insights from you today. So, Victor, also, could you introduce yourself and tell us about your background and how AI became part of your professional journey?
Sure. Hello, and thank you for having me. Um, in the past 10 years, I've been in the area of project and program management, working in multiple industries such as medical care, FinOps, as the most prominent ones. Currently, I'm focusing on the FinOps side of things. So, prior to that, on my background, I'm specializing in business administration. So basically, I came into um, IT prepared to embrace what's new, what's next. So AI came naturally for me. Every year, we're seeing what's latest. We're introducing the latest tools in our work streams. We are optimizing the processes. I'm always on the client side. We are not just working for the sake of working. We are working to deliver high quality product and always to be on the top of the market. So AI came, as I said, naturally, and we started integrating, and year after year, the results have been amazing. We are able to produce more, we are able to optimize the processes, and we are able to bring more quality. So every year it's a step up. So as I said, being in the project and program management area, the whole introduction just came out naturally.
Wow, that's impressive. So, guys, our main audience are project managers, and the first question that I would like to ask you, and it's, I believe, interesting for all PMs. Both of you are leading multiple initiatives, and would you delegate the PM role to AI?
Perhaps I may start, if you don't mind, Victor.
Of
So
course.
basically, yeah, the short answer is yes, but partially and on purpose, deliberately. Basically, as head of AI competence at Avenga, I oversee multiple concurrent initiatives at our company. So, starting from client projects, but also pre-sales activities, some internal programs, research tasks, etc. And yes, and I see very clear opportunities to delegate a significant portion of project management work to AI. But I would draw a clear line between delegating tasks, project management tasks to AI, and delegating the PM role itself to AI. What AI does exceptionally good at this moment of time is just some operational coordination, I would say. Stuff like summarizing meeting notes, extract actions, understanding some risks, blockers, generate status updates. detect some delayed tasks, etc. So AI is really good at it. And on top of it, it's also very good at dealing with documentation and communication. Things like generating release notes, escalation drafts, stakeholder updates, reports, whatever. So, what we can do, we can also set up the connection of AI agents to different systems like Jira, Confluence, MS Teams, GitHub, etc. And then basically the project managers will simply track signals from the project and will know exactly where to step in, what exactly needs their attention. And that actually translates into time saved for them, right? And better visibility and better risk detection and mitigation. So, from that perspective, definitely we can delegate tasks to AI. However,
Mhm.
again, from my perspective, project management is not only about that, right? So it's more than that. It's also about trust, motivation, alignment. It's about negotiation with clients and accountability. So basically, when someone in the team or even a client is frustrated, when priorities are not clear, let's say for developers, right? When deadlines are start moving, then AI will not help, right? In this situation, the project management is exactly the person who will resolve those challenges and issues. AI can prepare you for this situation and for the conversations. It can give you some, as we already mentioned, summaries, some context, options, risks, but this will be actually the person that will have to step in and build this trust and make the decisions.
Mhm.
And yeah, this is kind of as I view it. I would absolutely delegate many tasks to PM, so many PM tasks to AI, but the role itself, the accountability, the leadership, the relationship management remains deeply human.
That sounds very interesting. I hear that all routine work that we don't really like to do can be delegated to AI, and the work that I personally like the most to keep relationships, to build relationships, to work with a team, to work with stakeholders, keeps to PM role. So it's really good for me to hear. As for PM, it's good to hear such information.
Exactly.
Uh, Victor, maybe you have anything to add, but Olena's answer was very deep.
I agree. I agree. Hard to follow up because I agree with everything which was said. So, on a summarized level, yes, for sure, I can delegate, and I'm delegating day to day in my work tasks to AI in terms of summarization, reporting, analysis. Also, especially when you're leading initiative comprised of multiple projects, you have a lot of delivery data on your plate, and you need to follow all those signals. AI can provide you the support necessary to interpret all of that data and to tell you where you need to put your effort in. But essentially, the role itself that cannot be delegated because outside of the operational administrative activities, the role itself relies on the judgment of the program management. So judgment still cannot be replaced. Judgment in terms of dealing with sensitive environment, dealing with stakeholders, reading the room, the something which AI cannot do, bringing judgment into the table. If maybe all signals are green, you still need to put your judgment to place and to know that something maybe it's wrong, and to connect all the dots. So the judgment cannot be replaced on top of everything which Olena already mentioned: the relationship, the leadership, dealing with stakeholders. All of those areas remain core and essential to the role of the program management, but everything which is the operational layer, the administrative rail, or repetitive work, that can be replaced with AI and can support us in our productivity. Uh, I'm saying that also with a bit of a nuance because I'm saying that that can be delegated, but although it's being delegated, the accountability part still remains with us because we can delegate the summarization, the reporting, and the AI to read the data, but the consequences of what is being summarized, reported, and brought to the attention of our stakeholders also remains with us. Because if a sensitive information in other way is being communicated to our stakeholders, and that triggers some unwanted reaction, we are still accountable for previously what was done, what was delegated, and what AI support us to do. So the role remains with core essence on the judgment. The task can be delegated, but although the tasks are being delegated, the accountability remains with us.
Yeah, that really makes sense. Uh, let's talk about generally AI tools, and if many people are using ChatGPT the same way they do as Google and think that they are using AI, it's not true. So, from your opinion, what do you think defines truly confident AI user?
Yeah, so you mentioned that Googling and using AI is not the same. And I totally agree with you. Because when you just Google something, you search for the information that is that is already there. So the fact that was already there and, some things that you just retrieved. But when you are using AI, you are co-creating, you are generating something which didn't exist before. So this is a fundamentally different approach, right? So you are generating something together with your AI companion. And this is exactly the difference. And we need to know how to deal with your companion in order to get the best value out of it. So to get the best value out of it, you have to be AI fluent. We will call it AI fluent. So, what does it mean from my perspective? First of all, you have to know how to prompt with intent, right? So, it doesn't mean that you just put down a really broad and vague statement and ask and wait from AI to do the rest, right? So, you just give some information. Without even stating the constraints, without specifying the format, and then expect the AI to provide exactly what you need. That doesn't work, right? So, in order for AI to understand and to actually help and to generate what you need to be really straightforward and to provide as many information as you can. So you can, for example, say explicitly what you don't want to see, what should be the output that you expect. It could be the Word document or the presentation, or it could be just a JSON file with some input, etc. So basically, you need to be precise about what you would like to see and what you would like to achieve. Now, you have to be also ready to iterate. Usually, it doesn't work like in one go. So, the first go would be simply a draft, and you should be open to iterate on it to be ready to say sorry, no, so
Yeah.
that's not what I meant, right? So
Yeah,
actually,
not to take it as true and to put some questions and not to believe everything that ChatGPT or other tool is saying to you.
yeah, and even as a first iteration, it might get you wrong, right? So it might produce a correct response, but not actually answering your question, not providing you what you expected from it from the very beginning. So you have to be ready to give more information to guide the AI tool what you actually want, to provide examples perhaps, and to simply to provide more context to it.
Mhm.
And basically, what's also important is what you mentioned, Olesia, that AI can break down, right? So you need to understand its weaknesses as well. That the model can hallucinate on, especially on specific facts. It can struggle with very recent facts, and
Mhm.
basically, it's on you to verify that the information that you received is correct.
Yeah.
And that's basically, I would say, what would define the AI fluent user, right? So, so basically, most importantly, to make this shift from Googler to AI confident user, you have not just to read about it and to listen to some podcasters, etc., but you have to practice. What
Yeah.
more matters the most is your um, kind of your time spent with AI tools. You have to learn how to work with them and how to make the best results, how to communicate, how to do this, the iterations, the reflections, etc. And that's when it clicks.
Mhm. Thank you for your answer. Maybe going down deeper into the previous question. Using ChatGPT is not Googling, but for many people, ChatGPT equals AI. Victor, maybe you can provide some examples of other AI tools, good AI tools, and explain to us whether ChatGPT is the only AI tool, or can we find something else on the market?
Sure, we can. Sure, we can. Basically, I think we are past the moment of simply using it as a search engine. We have ChatGPT, and on general note, we have ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini models which assist us into our day-to-day work as thinking partners. But I would classify a bit the models that we're using. So we have those on general note, but I would always recommend, because I have been found in similar situation when we were discussing AI tools and different models, I would always recommend the ones which are closer to your work setup. Simply, for example, if you're working in a Microsoft setup, then I would strongly recommend using Copilot, because essentially Copilot is embedded in their applications, and we can basically organize entire workflows around the entire ecosystem, and we have access directly to the organizational knowledge, which could help us drive even better decisions or more quality outputs. On a similar note, if we are using for delivery Jira or Confluence, we might as well lean to Rovo, because essentially, again, it's embedded to the applications. It has access to the delivery knowledge in Jira. It has access to the reporting and the organizational knowledge in Confluence. So it could greatly aid us in our work. So on general note, yeah, we have the strongest contenders, which are ChatGPT, Claude, and Gemini, but I would always recommend to use the ones which are closer to your work setup and which are already embedded and integrated in the apps that you're using day to day, because those models can help you tremendously in your day to day work, not just increase productivity, but increase the quality of the output. Um, that's one thing. The strongest recommendation on top of that is for sure use the models which are approved by the organization, because security, we must always be mindful of it, and day to day we are working with very sensitive data. We have client details, budget constraints, so a lot of data is being on day to day basis shared across the organizational knowledge. So we must be mindful with what type of data we are feeding the AI tools and models, and whether those are approved by the organization or not. So,
Mhm. Yeah, and on the other hand, we have some constraints from the client, because some clients prefer some specific tools, and
of course,
this is specifics of PM's work. We have to keep in mind the constraints from our company and also from our clients. So it's important.
absolutely, absolutely.
Mhm. Thank you for those answers. I would like to come back to AI projects, because you are working with those type of projects, and I would like to ask you, what trends do you currently observe with AI projects?
Sure. Maybe I would like to add to the previous question regarding tools
Mhm.
first, because I would like to strongly recommend one tool that I'm using daily, which is
Mhm.
Notebook Plan. So this is just a very good tool. You can fit it your documents, like for example your reports or articles. I usually use it with articles, some transcripts even, and it generates audio overview. It can also structure the document and provide you some summary of it, and then you can even interrogate the document in the conversation, so you can ask
Mhm.
questions and just communicate with the notebook lm and figure out what you are interested in. So basically, yeah, it's a great tool for getting on top of large amount of material quickly.
Mhm.
And yeah, the tool that I'm using daily also is Claude. It's good for reasoning and writing, but yeah, you should be careful about the company limitations and constraints, as Victor said. Um,
Mhm.
one tool to mention as well, because it's getting very popular right now and probably worth checking, is OpenClaw. So it's an open source AI agent when you have not just to have some answers on your questions, but actually to get the things done. So this is the tool that you can check, and actually it runs locally and it connects to your messaging applications. You can interact with AIs right through WhatsApp or other messaging applications, and it can execute real tasks. So, for example, summarize your files, reading emails, and responding to your emails. But basically, it's very important to also mention that you should use it with caution, because and what does it mean is to limit what systems and data it can
Mhm.
access, because it can unintentionally, let's say, delete all your emails or passwords, etc. So just make sure that until you know how to use it, limit
Mhm.
everything it has access to.
Yeah, and probably it can write an email on your behalf of you, right? And can write some strange things to the people who don't have to receive that.
Yeah, so exactly. And then regarding the trends that basically that we are seeing right now, so from where I sit in the organization, I actually see the following trends. So the first one is that that organization are shifting from pilots to production. So around 2 years ago, every client conversation was about proof of concept. Everyone wants to innovate, to try the tools and the technology, and actually to understand whether it can bring value to the organization or not. At this point, we are now talking about building agentic factories, platforms with built-in scalability, governance, and maintenance. So it's, the novelty phase is almost over. Right now, we've got the hard engineering questions on the table. Um, yeah, so this is the most obvious one. The second one is probably agentic workflows going mainstream. This is also, what we already discussed. So we are past single prompt interactions and applications. Now, what the clients want to do is that AI simply take the task, understand the goal, and use whatever tools it might use, including MCPs, skills, connections, whatever, and deliver the result. So instead of just building chatbots, as we did a couple of years ago, we are now building workflow systems. And it has intelligence in it, of course, but it's built on many steps in it. And also, the trend that we observe, another trend that we observe is ROI conversations. So it's getting critical and really important. And the typical client's question at each conversation, probably at each other meeting, is okay. So we will invest 100K into the development of AI tool, or just using AI tool. What we are going to get out of it? What is the value? What is the benefit out of it? So basically, this is definitely something that we have to be prepared for. And what is most important is to have some way how to track the baseline metrics and KPIs before automating, before using AI. What was the time spent for that, or kind of number of people, resources doing that stuff? And after that, what changed? Accuracy, efficiency, time, any other benefit out of it. Yeah, and probably most relevant for my department is that the trend changes from foundational general purpose models to more specific industry-based models, and even domain-specific models. Right, so we see that more and more people are using some tuned models and grounded models on their proprietary data rather than just using on the shelf solutions. Yeah, that's probably the most clear trends that we observe right now.
In terms of trends, I think the biggest trend is now that there are no doubts that AI will be one of our day-to-day tools that we will be using. I think we're past the point of simply using it as a simple chat windows when we are simply asking questions, summarizing, or just using for general productivity. Now AI is being embedded into the applications that we are using day to day. I think people do not want to visit more places in order to reach to something. And with embedding it, we have more and more specialized agents which are working on a specific task. So basically, the reason behind that is organizing, as I said, outside of a simple window chat, organizing the entire workflows and using already existing tools which could help us do that. So on program management side and project management, we are working with signals. We want to know whether there are risks, whether the delivery is on track, what's the current capacity, will the capacity support the timelines and the scope that we aim to achieve. So with all those signals, now we have embedded agents in our day-to-day work, which are fully automating the workflow. You mentioned fun emails. I'm already receiving at least 20 emails weekly from my agents notifying me of variety alerts, which I need to check and to know where to put my focusing. So I would say the biggest trend is now currently the AI is being embedded into our day-to-day work application. So it's quite easier to automate entire workflows, but also to contextualize, to summarize, and to make reasoning out of it. So basically to use it as a thinking partner. And the next biggest trend, which is slowly becoming more and more global, I think it's around the governance. And those are the heavy discussions which Olena mentioned that we're having with our clients. So what type of data, what's the sensitivity of the data that we are feeding our AI models to, what to do with the data, who is reviewing and approving the data, whether we trust enough the agents to distribute that data across the stakeholders. So where is the governance line in which our judgment is being applied so that we can assure what is produced is conveying the right message, signal, or output that we are aiming. So I think the governance, now that AI is our day-to-day thinking partner, I think the governance is becoming more of a global trend, and there are more and more conferences, debates, or discussions around the communities around it.
If we are talking about some real examples of the projects, could you walk us through some real projects where AI helped to improve the outcomes?
Sure, probably. I will start. I will provide. I will tell more about our recent experience. So basically, the client had a major challenge, and that's actually very common for large organizations. So they were sitting on thousands of use cases across the business. So there were thousands across the business processes and use cases that they wanted to automate, but they needed to prioritize that list of use cases. We can't start building thousands of applications right away, right, or thousands of agents right away. So we need to know which one is ready for AI automation and which one is kind of better choice. So the traditional approach would be to involve a team, a large team of business analysts, and actually assess those use cases one by one, analyzing, but building some value cases around them, right, and analyzing documents, running some elicitation sessions with stakeholders, etc. So, but for thousands of use cases, that would take not even weeks; it would take months or even longer, right? So, and by the time you are done with that, perhaps some inputs will already change, right? So, this is really a time-consuming task. But what we did instead, we built an AI agent that would automatically ingest all available information about each use case, and also can do the elicitation sessions on its own, collect the information, and then assess each use case against readiness criteria. So we came up with a framework of the readiness based on multiple dimensions, including technical feasibility, data availability, business value, implementation complexity, and then generated a focus list of use cases with structured reasoning behind it. Why? Actually, AI generated, right? Why AI thinks it's a good choice for the automation to be like a first wave automation. And basically, what would have been taken months for a business analyst, it took us, it took us to implement this AI agent really perhaps a week, and then it can run and assess use cases on the fly. But actually, one thing that I would like to highlight and focus is that basically AI wasn't the end decision maker in this process. So they just generated the draft, some kind of initial input still for business analysts to review later on, meaning that AI did the heavy lifting, analyzing the documents, kind of searching for the information, and answering the questions. And then basically the business analyst did what they are best at, right? So they kind of checked whether it makes sense and added on top of it, right?
Mhm.
So basically what we did, we successfully completed this task, but it was done in a fraction of time rather than just relying on a business analyst team and spending many months in assessing it one by one.
Mhm. I can imagine how much time was saved for business in this scenario.
Yeah. So AI is not replacing the whole process; it just augmenting the process and speeding up it, and allow business analysts to focus on what really matters, right? What they are good at, rather than spending lots of time just reading through the documents and finding the information that they needed. So it's just to speed up the process.
Talking about projects, once the plan has been set up until complete successful execution of the plan, uh, what's pending is successfully mitigating the risks which will arise along the way, whether we like it or not. I can share one example of a process which heavily improved the way that we are structuring and thinking about the risk and seeing them a bit ahead of time. The first part is prior to becoming a risk, we have day-to-day issues. So in one of my client cases, we were working on Jira. Jira is basically where we hold the operational knowledge, the deliverables, the epic, the entire organization that we have there. We have linked our agents to simply scan for any type of signals. For example, if the time is 50% elapsed, but the progress, I won't go deep into the matrix that we're using, but if the progress is not there, simply to identify as an issue and to mark trends for further deliverables, which might become issues in the future. And then our agent is scanning all of the data, and we are using several other tools. As I said previously, we want to utilize all the tools that we have. In this case, we have Power Automate simply to connect with the agent to create automatically the risk tickets based on the agent with proposed mitigation plan. And then directly, since Power Automate is already integrated in our environment, it creates a chat between all the stakeholders which are part of that deliverable. It's pulling the names out of the already list that it has. It notifies us directly in the chat that this risk has been created under this and these assumptions, and it automatically schedules us an email based on the available slot between the 3 or 5 of us to meet, to discuss, to place our judgment whether it's an actual risk on an issue. and then simply facilitator is summarizing all the meeting roles and putting them into the weekly report. So basically, out of scanning 10 plus teams with 100 plus deliverables, our agent is doing that, and then we're utilizing the tools simply for me to show on a meeting and to discuss with a group of people particular ticket out of which all of us are interested in, or it could mitigate or prevent not to deliver it within the agreed time and scope. So that's one fully automated workflow in terms of issues and risks. Issues as of now and risk trends which might become based on the issues and how we are resolving. So if that was several hours per week, now it's like um, simple check whether the agent reported something or not. And I'm also, since I mentioned human judgment and accountability is needed, I'm also on weekly level checking the agent logs to see what is scanning and whether something was maybe missed, so that I can understand how detailed and thorough it's going through the delivery scope and what we have in Jira. Those are 2 3 hours out of a group of people that now we are using for judgment, reasoning, and something which we cannot fully replace or automate yet.
Sounds like a dream for every project manager on the project. Let's imagine the situation where the client wants to speed things up with AI and, for example, delegate all design work to it. And on the other hand, the team doesn't want or doesn't believe it will work. What do you think the project managers should do in this kind of situation?
Yeah, that's a great question, and basically, it's kind of it's not that unusual, right? So I would say it most common it's common in many projects at the moment because usually both sides are right about something, right? So the client might be right about AI actually speeding up and helping with perhaps the initial design iteration with some concept generation and exploration. And the team might be also correct from the point of view that the full automation is not possible with AI only, right? So it can generate something, but most likely it would be even functional, right? But it wouldn't be what most of the users would like to see, and it wouldn't be that functional for them. So that's why I think this is actually where PM can help significantly and move this conversation to experiment. So we did something similar to the project that I just described. We also started to debate whether it's feasible to use AI or not, and some team members had concerns regarding AI even being capable of generating the good drafts and value cases by its own. But then what we decided to do, and actually it was PM's idea, to instead of just debating, let's run a short experiment. And that's actually what we did. We did a couple of use cases, and we just used AI agent to describe them. So in this situation, we can do something like that. So we can just take one design work stream, let's say, and then use AI or some on the shelf or just custom baseline agent, so we can implement it really fast to generate some draft concepts and to explore some styles and basically to check through component variations. And then we will bring those drafts to user testing and measure the quality of it, right? So that would be kind of evidence based rather than just listening to the loudest voice in the room. And yeah, that's basically
Agile in practice, you know.
yeah, exactly. So basically, from my point of view, it's PM's role to lead this conversation and to provide a space for such experiments within the team. The PM shouldn't be the AI expert, right, and the design expert. So, but but this kind of the decision should be made based on some kind of evidences, right? So the data produced during this experiment, and then we can go from there.
Thank you for this overview of this situation. Maybe I will also have a question to Victor then. We talked about that many tasks of any professional, I believe, can be delegated to AI agents. But what do you think are the risks of over-relying for AI?
The risks of over relying to AI is basically not reviewing the output that we produce. Sometimes, if something seems really polished and professional, that does not mean it's true. So, placing our judgment on the end of every output, it can speed us the process. It can generate the output in 1 hour instead of 2 days, but we still need to take a look at it. We must not blindly rely of everything we receive, and we also need to understand what are the conditions in which the AI models are working on. Because if our data is not structured in a way which the model can work, recognize, and produce us the output that we desire, or if the data is outdated or not maintained, we might produce like hallucination and we over rely on it. So at the end of the day, we must check what are the outputs, and we need to agree with them prior to conveying the communication forward or making decision based of it. So that comes with over reliance of AI. The other part is over relying of AI. Uh, the We still need to agree with the clients on the governance model. So there are things in which we can rely. There are some things in which basically the setup in which we are working, especially compliance heavy setups, do not allow us to do so. So we still need to be, at the end of the day, be professionals. We are the ones who, with the overall organizational knowledge with which we need to apply how to run successfully one project or one program, and essentially treat AI as a tools which will either boost our productivity or increase the quality that we're bringing to the table. But we must still validate, check, and agree with it, because I said multiple times, accountability lies with us in the end
Mhm.
of the day. Whatever is being produced, communicated, or taken as a foundation to make a decision.
So, to wrap our conversation, I also have one more important question to you, and I really would like to hear your opinion. Do you think that professionals who won't learn how to use AI today will become irrelevant in the job market soon?
Yeah, that's a great question, and the short answer is we should all learn AI. um, Professions might not become, not all professions might become irrelevant, right? But as some of the roles still require, as we already mentioned, um, uh, kind of human touch, right? So being able to motivate people, to negotiate with clients, etc., that's something that I don't foresee AI will take over soon. But still, if you use AI in your everyday tasks, you will have more time to focus on those tasks, on motivating your team, on basically communicating more with your client rather than do operational stuff and tracking statuses personally and manually, right? And writing emails, from scratch, etc. So basically, the idea is that you should still do some work with AI and automate some tasks that you can with AI to have more time and to have more value for the organization, and to do the stuff that is actually valuable for you as a professional. And basically, if you are not doing it right now, if you are not learning AI at the moment, it's today is the right moment to start doing it. because people that are using AI, they are moving much faster than those that are not using AI, and this gap will just increase with time. Just make it a habit to use, start with 30 days a day, let's say 30 minutes a day, and just apply AI for your everyday work. And then that will be kind of a habit that you will got into it, that you will learn how to speed up your work, and you will end up with boosted performance and with more tasks closed in your daily routine.
Irrelevant, maybe a bit too harsh. I also think that project program management won't be replaced, but definitely those who do not practice AI will become less competitive, I would say, because there is the side of in which we need to understand project and program management and how it's applied. We need to have the exact and precise knowledge to drive these initiatives. But the second part will soon come with the knowledge that you have and with the understanding how will you apply AI in your day-to-day work. So first you need to have the essential knowledge in order to run this initiative, but then AI is becoming hard. It's basically day-to-day use. Every organization would like to understand which are the best case practices which you can apply either to increase productivity or increase quality in whatever that you're doing. So not applying it to your day-to-day work or simply avoiding it, I wouldn't say that will replace in short term program and project managers, but definitely it will make you less competitive.
Thank you, Olena. Thank you, Victor. This conversation was very inspirational. You provided many practical tips, insights, and knowledge. Thank you to everyone who watched this episode. I hope that we inspired you to dive deeper into the artificial intelligence and try different tools on your own. So stay with us, subscribe to our channel, and see you in our next episode. Bye.